Hey guys, what is up? We just wanted to provide you with a little bit of information if you're planning on going to Disney World anytime soon or in the future. From our experience, from the 2 times that I've been, this will now be my third.
And this will, I mean, it's my fourth. There's no technically, but technically it's my third time having a planned or being involved in planning. Because for my first time, I went when I was a kid with my family, so I didn't really plan it. But this will be my third time planned.
And we just wanted to offer you guys a couple of tips, tricks, and the need to know if you're planning your vacation.
And I just want to say that this video is it's like an unofficial help you plan guide, because even though we've been there 3 times, planning it is super simple. It's about making choices. That's what this video I think will help you more on, is making choices, whether it's better or more cost efficient. Not necessarily like this is how you plan it to a T. This is just our experience and what we know, and some suggestions maybe.
So to begin, we're going to show you guys and tell you guys about the affordability, how there's different tiers for different resorts, and how much it costs basically if you want to reserve. To begin with, staying at one of these resorts. So you have options when you go to Disney World. You can stay either on property or you can stay at an Airbnb or something else. But take into consideration that if you stay off a property, you're going to have to rent a car over there or Uber or Lyft there. And if you do rent a car, then you have to pay for parking.
Yeah.
And it's not like Disneyland over here in California where you have one parking structure. There are different parking lots for each park. And I'll kind of try to see if I can put a map here so you guys can see how spread out they are, because that was something that was very eye-opening to me the first time. I knew that they weren't close to each other, but I didn't know that they were that far.
Yeah, I think because Florida is such an expansive, it's like its own little city. You know, it has its own roadways and the different parking lots. It is like, so think of it like you're going to the Disneyland parking structure, 4 different places.
Yeah.
And it's no structure. It's a giant parking lot.
Yeah, their parking lots need some improvement, because that's an off-topic thing, but the lines on the floors are like fading and it's just massive.
Yeah. It goes for, and which is nice because they have something called the Ticket and Transportation Center, which you can park there and go to the different parks using the different systems of transportation, the modes of transportation. But I think we'll talk about that a little later in the video.
So, explaining the different resorts if you stay at Disney World property. So, at the very top, you have your deluxe resorts. And then in the middle, there's a middle tier called the moderate resorts. And then at the very bottom is the most affordable, which are the value resorts. And we'll go through and let you guys know kind of what our favorite ones are, and ones that, you know, based on our experience are our favorite, and also what we're going to end up staying at ourselves.
We'll start off by explaining a little bit how luxury, moderate, and value, not how they work, but what they are. Essentially, the value ones are going to be the best value resorts you get on Disney property. Those include Art of Animation, you have the Pop Century, All-Star resorts. A little bit about those. It's more for families, you know, so they can afford their vacation. They have the same amenities almost. They have pools, they have quick service restaurants. It's just the value rooms, which is going to consist of, you know, beds, maybe the TV and the stand they have. I don't know. I know Art of Animation has fridges. I'm not too keen on the other ones. I don't know if they have fridges too. But I know it's just pretty standard hotel rooms. It's places to sleep.
And for the value resorts, they do have suites that are pretty affordable, again, for larger families. And don't think that because you're staying at a value, like Cody said, you're losing any value, because you're not. If anything, these resorts are more themed, I feel, towards kids. And I'll put examples again. Like they have a section that's like Cars Land, and they have, it looks like Radiator Springs. They have a pool that's like Nemo theme. So if you have little ones, I think they're not going to be missing out, because they're going to be in this immersed like world essentially.
Yeah. So a tier above the value is going to be moderate, and those moderate resorts are going to consist of hotels. I'll give you a couple, like Coronado Springs and the Port Orleans Riverside /
French
Quarter. Those hotels, I think they're more expensive than the other ones. They have a lot more, not suites, but like the double rooms with 2 beds, and they come with a desk, and they have more than just quick service. I think each moderate resort has at least one or two actual like restaurants in their resorts. I think they're also the resorts that have the modes of transportation, like the boats that you can take from Port Orleans to go over to Disney Springs. I almost called it Downtown Disney. You can go to Disney Springs on the boats, and then you can use the Skyliner. I know Caribbean Beach, which is also a moderate resort. You can take the Skyliner.
And we'll touch more on transportation in a little bit in regards to that as well.
Yeah.
But something else, so we stayed at a moderate resort when we went to Disney World the second time.
Yeah.
We stayed at Port Orleans Riverside, and we did stay in the nicer room, which was, I forgot what it was called.
It was Tiana. It was the room themed around Tiana.
Yeah, like the princesses, but yes, Tiana.
Yeah.
And we'll go ahead and link the video here on top from when we went to Disney World and experienced that room, but for getting the extra added, you know, headboard with the lights and stuff, I think it was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
We were out there for how many days?
I think we had 7 days, because we had the day we got there, and then we had the next day. We didn't do a park the next day. We did, we went to Disney Springs and Gideon's and did all that fun stuff. And then we had our 4 park days and the day we left. So it was like 6 or 7 days.
Yeah.
But I think it was definitely worth the... It wasn't even that much of an upcharge. I know that per night it got a little bit pricey, but in total we didn't really spend that much money, and I would say that was probably the nicest room at the resorts. I mean, besides the suites.
Especially if you don't mind like rooming with other people. So in that room specifically, there were 2 beds, and it was Cody's mom and his sister Ashley, and then me and Cody shared a bed. And there's 1 bathroom, but there's enough privacy because they had like curtains in there, and then the toilet and shower had its own little area separate from the mirrors. So I think it's definitely doable. At the moderate resort too, they did have laundry services. So if you wanted to go do your laundry, you had that available to you. And then if you want extra activities, moderate resorts do also offer things like at ours at Riverside, there was fishing. Like you could rent fishing poles and go fishing, or take like a horse carriage around the resort, which was like really cool.
Yeah, I think it's fun that they add these things. And those laundry services, they are super helpful, especially at the end of your trip. Just know those do cost you. It's not an amenity. It's just there for you if you want to use them. But you'll pay for like your soap, your detergent, and your laundry stuff. But it's good at the end of the trip because you can wash all your clothes before you leave. I think that's what we did.
Yeah.
So we washed them the night before, and then it started raining.
We just kind of like packed everything off to the side, and we're like, okay, time to do laundry. But then we were in the middle of like a really bad basically hurricane.
Yeah, it rained for like
it was crazy.
8-9 hours.
Like
it started,
rocks.
it started when we were at Epcot, and we got rained all throughout the night. I think in that video I have it's a short like time lapse of the rain, and it was pretty.
The lightning was crazy. We thought we were gonna be like electrocuted out there.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
And then a tier above that, so you have the deluxe resorts, which are comparable, I guess, if you would say, over here in California to the Grand Californian. But basically it's like the bougiest of the bougie. There's several over there at Disney World. There is the Contemporary, which is a really famous one over there. There's also the Polynesian, which is another famous one over there. And the Polynesian's kind of themed around Polynesian, history. And then Animal Kingdom Lodge, which is where we're staying this time around. I know. So excited. This has been a dream of mine since the first time we went.
Yeah, I think Aaliyah's most not requested, but she's wanted to stay there the most. And I think it's cool because the savannah views and stuff like that.
Which we'll get into our resort specifically towards the end of the video.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to dive in there.
I also think the Polynesian is on the monorail track as well. I think you can take the monorail from the Contemporary, and then it stops at Magic Kingdom, and then you can go to the Polynesian as well. It's pretty much all those Magic Kingdom area hotels. Those are the deluxe ones.
So something that I think you need to also keep in mind when booking. So when you stay at Disney World, like one of the resorts, you can also buy your tickets together as like a bundle, which comes up so much cheaper. And typically, like the more days you stay, the cheaper the tickets are. And when I say that, it's like, I think it's like between the 5th and the 6th day, it's maybe like a $30 or $40 difference.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And again, you don't need reservations in Florida right now, so you can go whatever park whenever you want. You just can't park hop. So if you go to one park that day, you can't go to another park that day.
I'm kind of glad that they don't have the reservation system out there, because we can choose if we get up. I know we have a list, but if we get up one day and we're like, today I really want to go to Epcot, we can go to Epcot. Now we have to stay there, like Aaliyah said, we can't park hop, but it gives us the freedom to choose. Like, say a park gets shut down for whatever reason. It's rare, but let's say it gets shut down. You have 3 other parks to choose from. You're not just set on one park for that day, which I think is nice.
And with that, so when you have your tickets and your reservation at the hotel, when you're booking it, you don't have to pay $2,000, $3,000 up front or plus, depending on where you stay. All Disney expects from you is to pay $200 to hold that, and you have up until 30 days before your reservation to pay whatever amount. You can do payment plans as much or little as you want. So say we were booking a $2,000 resort and we had like 6 months, so 30 days before that, as long as we made like a $1,000 payment, then a $50 payment, and like whatever that is totaled up by the 30 days. Like, it doesn't matter how many increments, how many times, as long as it gets paid that 30 days before.
Yeah, I think it's beneficial for families too, because I know Disney World, for a lot of people, is like that once in a lifetime thing. They don't get to go. I mean, we're fortunate enough to go as often as we have. We try and go
once a year. That's
like our thing, is we plan a trip. I know not last year was a cruise, right?
Yeah.
So that was the year we skipped, but the years before that we had gone, and I think it helps a lot when they allow you to pay over time and don't have you on a schedule of like, oh, you need to make $500 next week. It's, if you want to pay $1, $4, and then your next payment you could put a whole bunch more down. I think it's really beneficial, especially to these people with families. You have big families and you have life still going on, for it to be, a little bit mindful, because you can plan. I don't know how far exactly you can plan out, but if you can get a hotel booked for a year in advance, you have a whole year to pay it off. I think that helps a lot of people go on vacations like this. It's more cost efficient.
So to put it in perspective, in December, actually I think it was New Year's Eve of 2023, I was booking for July of 2024.
Yeah.
And we were going to stay at Coronado Springs, which is a moderate resort. And then, like we've mentioned before, Cody got a new job and they didn't let him leave because he had to do his training, and if he left, then it was like they were going to basically kick him out.
Yeah, I think it was the day I graduated my academy was the day we were supposed to be leaving to go over there. So it is unfortunate, but I'm glad we got to move it, because August would have been July would have been horrendous.
Yeah.
The weather in Florida, which I'm sure we'll touch on a little bit during the summer, is not fun.
Yeah.
So now that we're going in less than 30 days, and in February it should be pretty nice out there. So I guess that's beneficial.
Yeah, and so that's another thing. Like, if you're worried, hey, what if something doesn't work out with my plans? I was able to then, I think it was maybe, when did we find out you were, I think it was like the beginning of July.
It was July.
No, I lied. I think it was like June that we found out that, because it was almost the 30 days.
No, we were supposed to go in August, because that's when my...
You're right. So July was with a cutoff.
Yeah.
That was the 30 days.
Because I think July 11th.
We were going to go in August, the beginning of August.
Yeah.
So I had in July, I was able to rebook it, and that's when we chose to stay at Animal Kingdom, because we were like, you know what, we already paid at the time. We were going to, for Coronado Springs, it was going to be $3,000.
Yeah.
For the both of us. So, and we're going for 9 days total and 7 park days. So that's 7 ticketed days, but 9 days total that we're staying there. The time we get there, the 7 days we go to the parks, and then the last day that we leave.
Yeah.
So 9 days total, and the cost was going to be $3,000 for the both of us. So then when we ended up extending our trip, now we're going in February, we were like, you know what, we have more time. Why not let's just go all in, since we didn't get a trip last year.
Yeah, I think the motivation too was the first time we went over there, we stayed at one of Aaliyah's friends' timeshares, which, thank you, Martha, for letting us stay there, because it was really nice.
It was really nice.
A really nice timeshare. And when we were researching like Disney World, because I went when I was like 9, and she had never been. So we would watch videos, and people would talk about Animal Kingdom Lodge. Her eyes would like light up, like it was the thing she wanted to do. So thankfully, when I got my new job, we had more time plus a little bit more money, and I really wanted her to stay there just so she can experience it, because even if she hates it, it's something she's wanted to do. So I think that's the fortunate thing about the payment plan too, is if you realize, like, you plan a trip for your family of 4 and you go, oh wow, it took me 2 months to pay off the trip. Maybe if we want to bump it up from a standard, a value, to a moderate, you absolutely can. You know, it gives you a little more flexibility.
And they just let you know, like, okay, the difference now is whatever you put down, you put down. Now the difference is this because you want to stay at this nicer one, and it's just due the 30 days before. Yeah,
just don't book flights or the stuff we're going to talk about right now, which is your transportation from MCO to the resort. Don't book any of those if you are even thinking about bumping up, because we were fortunate enough that the airlines, we were far out enough for them to reschedule them, but I don't know if that's going to be the case for everybody.
Yeah.
So if you are looking to bump up your trip a little bit, you get a little bit of extra income, you find a little bit of money in the couch cushions, don't book any of your flights or your transportation to the resorts until you finalize that reservation. And once it's finalized, we can move into getting from MCO, which is the airport in Orlando International, to the resort.
And that's where we touch on our next topic. So next we're going to touch on transportation. Like Cody said, from MCO to these resorts, you need to have, unless you're renting a car, you need to have some way to get there. And before, Disney used to have...
They used to have something called Disney, it was Mickey's Magical Express, something like that. And it was free of charge. You only had to have a reservation for a resort, and you could take this Mickey's Magical Express. It was a bus system.
A charter bus.
And it was run by Disney, and they would take you from the airport to whatever resort you were going to. It was really nice. They showed you like informational videos about the resort on your way there, and it was nice of Disney to give people that. But now, I think the year before, 2022, when we went, it was the Sunshine Flyer.
Yeah.
And that was, it wasn't bad for what it was.
It was kind of off-brand, but
it was weird. It was strange. They played like non-Disney cartoons in the bus, and our bus was kind of empty. There was maybe like 4 total families.
But it was super affordable. I think it was like $6 one way or something like that.
It was very affordable, and I did like that it was kind of themed. I think MEARS, which is I think it's the only one available now. I don't think the Sunshine Flyer, I think they got bought out by MEARS. It's called MEARS Connect. It's the same bus system. It is pretty costly, but it's going to get you from the airport to whatever resort you're going to. They have a little process where you meet at a group, like they have these select resorts, this bus is going to those resorts. So you have to be in that group when they call you that group. When you schedule your MEARS thing, they'll give you a time. So whatever time your bus is going to leave, you just have to be there. They take your luggage and you just sit on the bus. It's literally like a 15-20 minute drive, depending on what resort you're staying at. You might stop at other resorts on the way there, but that's really the only transportation unless you take an Uber or, like Leah said, you rent a car. And at MCO, they have like Hertz and Enterprise and all those car rental systems. So if you were interested in doing that, you can. I don't know about that. Last time we tried to rent a car, it was very costly. It did help because we got to go places outside of Disney World, because I think we went to Horror Nights too. Yeah. So if you're planning on not just staying at the Disney resort, or just going to any other parks, maybe that's for you. But for us, it makes more sense to take the MEARS Connect because it's a little bit cheaper. And it takes us straight to our resort. And
I'll put the MEARS Connect link in the description below if you want to explore the other options, because like Cody said, there is one that's cheaper. I want to say the booking starts at like $16 a person, but then they have one that's an express one, and I forget what the difference is, but in price it's like $250 for both of us. So
it's a part of the process, and a lot of people are going to be upset because you just paid $4,000, $3,000 for your family to go on a trip, and now you got to pay for them to take the bus. Understand. I wish they had the Mickey's Magical Express back. It was free. Anybody could use it if you were staying at a resort. It was the best. But for whatever reason, Disney said, I'm going to Thanos snap and get rid of that.
So next we're going to transition into dining options. So like Cody said, certain resorts have their own personal dining sit-down restaurants. And just like over here at Disneyland, you have to book 60 days before for some of these restaurants, which we did. And they also have quick service restaurants, which are basically like regular cafeteria food where you can get Disney's famous chicken tenders, you can get pizza, and you can get food, beverages, breakfast, pastries, like literally everything.
I think too, moderate. So going back to like the tier system of resorts, every hotel, whether it's value, moderate, or deluxe, should have a quick service restaurant. Now, when you go up a tier, like at the moderate resorts, they should have 1 or 2 restaurants where you go sit down and they bring you your food. And then the deluxe resorts, I believe each deluxe resort has a buffet. So that's like a difference too if you're looking into what resorts you should stay at. If your family for some reason really loves buffets, I know Grand Floridian has 1800 Park Fare. Where we're staying at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, they have something called Boma. But each tier has its thing. But I think every resort should have a quick service restaurant where you can just go and get grab and go snacks. Like Aaliyah said, the chicken tenders.
That was like the best. And also check the hours on that, because we would be tired after a long day at the parks, and like of course we splurged over there buying the things that we wanted to buy and eat. And then when we were like tired, we're like, you know what, let's go pick up some chicken tenders and watch some Disney shows or movies or High School Musical on TV. So
yeah, I think it's awesome because they give you a lot of different options. But just know that each different resort is going to have different options for you. Like, all of them should have chicken tenders, but some of them have specialties. Some of them have monthly specials. So just keep a lookout for that as well. And like Aaliyah said, if you're making dining reservations specifically, dining reservations, restaurants you have to secure a reservation for, whether that's in the park or at whatever resort you're staying at. Those are they start 60 days in advance, and those go fast.
Next, we're going to go ahead and just give our suggestions for a value, a moderate, and a deluxe resort. So me and Cody both agreed on this. We had talked about this prior, that for a value resort, we really think what's cute and probably the best for families is the art of animation. Because it is the art of animation. Like, there are drawings and lots of colors everywhere. And again, we'll include pictures here so you guys can kind of get a visual of what is included here at this resort. And I can see if I can get some of the suites too, just so you have an idea. But like you said, there's still a pool, there's like a splash pad. There are lots of options, even though it is a value resort.
I think to the art of animation specifically, which is the one I guess we're suggesting for you to look into if you're looking at value resorts, is because that literally is what Disney is. It's kind of like you want the full experience, and you're not looking to pay a whole bunch of money. You stay at the art of animation where Disney started, and then you get to go to the parks where it is right now. So I think that's an added kind of like sentimental bonus of you staying there. And that's why I think it's best. I don't think it's better than any of the other value resorts. I just think for a full experience, for an appreciative experience, art of animation is probably my suggestion.
And then for the moderate resort, so we've only stayed at
the Port
Orleans Riverside. But I thought it was very cute because where we were staying, and I'll see if I can put clips from our videos when we went, and again, the link to the video will be on top. It was so, our room looked over like a little canal, and there were very cute bridges that crossed over this canal, and then you see like the boats of people going to Disney Springs going down the middle, like right in front of your room. And it was very peaceful. There was lots of greenery, like lots of grass. There were lots of trees. There's kind of like a cement trail that follows the water. So I just thought it was very quiet and peaceful, and it was just beautiful.
And luckily for us, I know that Riverside, the Riverside rooms stretch along that little canal, like Aaliyah was saying. But where we were specifically, our bridge led right over to where the gift shop was, the arcade, the restaurant, not Paddlefish.
No.
So it's a restaurant at Port Orleans Riverside. The quick service, it led to the pool. It led to the bus stops, like the front of the resort. Like, it was so central to everything, and I like that. Oh, and where you get on the boat, it was like right across from us. So I really did enjoy that. I think for me, I've actually stayed at Coronado Springs before. That was when I was like 9 or 10, and I enjoyed it. I really did. I think their themed pool, which is like Aztec Mayan themed, they have a little temple, is very cool, especially for like the more adventurous families, or if you're going with your partner and you guys like that theme. It's themed very well. They just opened the Gran Destino Towers not too long ago, and those rooms are really, really nice. You can look at them all online as well before you book whatever room you want to stay at. And that Gran Destino Tower, it's more affordable than you would think, and it's also it just got remodeled. Like, it's very nice. They also have very good restaurants. I like Mexican food. I know Aaliyah doesn't really, but I think their restaurants are really nice. So I would say if you're looking to stay at a moderate resort and you don't really like the theming of the other ones, Coronado Springs is my suggestion.
And then lastly, a deluxe resort. So again, this is the one I've been wanting to stay at over all the other ones, and it is the Animal Kingdom Lodge. So here at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, they do have multiple food offerings. For one, they have, like Cody said, Boma. They have Chico, which is like a nicer restaurant. They have the Mara, which is a quick service restaurant. Yeah. And then they have, I'm missing one,
the Victoria
Falls Lounge, which is like a little bar area, but they also have like bar food.
They also have a restaurant called Sanaa.
Oh yeah.
And Sanaa and Chico are kind of the more, I think Chico is like almost fine dining, and then Sanaa is just like casual dining. Boma is the family style buffet, and then the Mara is the quick service, and Victoria Falls Lounge is kind of a bar-ish area. Yeah. We will have a video. I mean, this is Aaliyah's like dream resort, so we're gonna have a lot of content coming out from our stay. So we'll dive a little bit more when we know, but I think I would also recommend Animal Kingdom Lodge because they have savannah views. Yes, that's what we're gonna jump into next. When you wake up in the morning and you see the animals on the savannah, like, I don't know of another hotel experience that is like that.
Yeah, and if you're like, what do you mean animals? So if you don't know, Disney World does have a park, Animal Kingdom, that actually has animals, like legitimate animals, and you can even do a safari, but that's a whole nother thing. Yeah. But they have their resort that we're staying at, Animal Kingdom Lodge, that they have savannas with actual animals. So when you wake up in the morning with your coffee on your balcony, you can look at zebras and giraffes right outside of your room, which is like so cool, and I cannot wait to show you guys because oh, I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
And it's not like a zoo style savanna area, it's like a conservation thing. It's a very expansive piece of land dedicated for these animals to walk around, and it's right next to the resort rooms. Like, okay, a giraffe is not gonna see you on the balcony and you're gonna be here, like and it's gonna be Park here. Scene? Yeah, it's not gonna be like that, but you get a great view. Depending on your room too, if you're on the upper floors, you're gonna be able to see everything. So I think it's really cool. Yeah. I think the only other deluxe resort that I would stay at is Fort Wilderness. Like, the Grand Floridian it's too bougie for me. I feel like Kevin McAllister from Home Alone.
Yeah, I feel that.
And the Contemporary's nice, but the only reason I like the Contemporary is for Chef Mickey's. Polynesian, maybe.
I would probably say the Polynesian.
But honestly, I want to stay at a Fort Wilderness, like a cabin. I know they just redid them too. So yeah.
So lastly, to end this video, we want to go over some tips, again, from our experience. So in regards to transportation, when you're booking your trip, check what the transportation is that's available for that area, because certain resorts, they only have buses, or you have the Skyliner, or you have boats. Just when you're booking, there's a little box that says transportation. Look at what they have available, because even though the buses are like, you know, they're free, they can take a while sometimes. And like when you're rope dropping, they do have like a line for you to line up for the buses, but they fill up quick.
Yeah, and those buses, like at Port Orleans Riverside, they have to hit 2 resorts before they get to us. They have to hit French Quarter, and then they hit Saratoga, because that's on the opposite side. So think of it like this: Saratoga Springs, Riverside, French Quarter. They're gonna hit Saratoga, go over to the French Quarter, and then they're gonna hit us at Riverside. So that boat could be filled, or the
bus can be filled.
The bus may be filled before it even gets to us, and if you're standing out there for an hour or more, I would not be surprised. I don't really like the bus system. I think it's very efficient the way they do it. It's just not personally, my favorite, I would rather take
A Skyliner.
a Skyliner or a monorail. But that you should also think about that when you're planning your vacation. It's like, hey, does this resort have any other transportation besides the bus system? Because I know some of them have the Skyliner, like Caribbean Beach and
The Riviera.
The Riviera, which is that's a DVC hotel. That's even above deluxe. You have monorail, like from the Contemporary or from the Polynesian. I think the Grand Floridian, you could take a ferry. I think some of the Magic Kingdom area resorts, you take the ferry to the park. So just those are things to consider when you're thinking about planning your trip. Is hey, if this resort like Boardwalk, does it have transportation to all the parks? Most of the time, it's going to be no. I don't think there's one resort that can go to all the parks, but some of them are closer to others. So that's something to look into, is the transportation modes.
Another tip that we suggest is if you want to be buying food or merchandise, whatever, and you kind of want to put yourself on a budget, if you don't have the restraint, like we don't have restraint sometimes, we really do suggest buying a Disney gift card or gift cards ahead of time. So today we just loaded this one up with $600, and it'll go towards food. It might go towards merchandise. It can go towards alcohol if I want like a beverage or something from Epcot. Like this will kind of limit you, and you're like, okay, I gave myself a budget, so this is what we're gonna stick to.
Yeah, we have a little. It's on our pin board right now. There's a little envelope that we have that says Disney World Fund. The 2 times that we've gone, me and her together before, we've done the same thing. We get an envelope and we get gift cards and we throw them in there. I honestly think it's better than keeping all your money in your bank account, especially because when you see something and you have your bank account, you're gonna go, I'm just gonna buy everything and not even have any restraint at all. And if you need a little bit of extra help, that gift card, you load it with, okay, my limit is $500. And to be honest, the food over there, it's
more affordable.
a little bit more affordable. And if you budget yourself even gift cards just for food, I think it's a lot smarter. You limit yourself on what you can and can't buy.
And then another tip is if you're staying at the resorts, they do offer refillable cups. So this was when we went for the 50th of Disney World. There is a lid, I can't find it, but this can work as both, it's a coffee cup, but it can also work for like soft drinks. And you pay the one-time fee, which I think is like $14 or something like that, or $12.
Something like that.
And literally, it's like, it's good for free refills for your entire stay.
Your entire stay. So we're going for 8 total days, not including the day we check out. The day we check out, it's 9 days, but I think that's when the refillable mug ends. But for the day we get there and our 7 park days, we could walk into any of the resorts and get, we could walk into our quick service, which would be the Mara for us, and get unlimited coffee, unlimited soft drinks. There's no time limit, there's no cap. It's just the day you get there, all through your park days, and then the day you leave, it ends. And I think it's helpful because you could honestly just walk to the quick service, get a drink, and then go back to your room. It was the
best. Like if Cody woke up early, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go, get coffee. Do you want me to take your cup and get you coffee?" And like I'd have coffee in bed while I was getting ready for the resort, and then like later on for dinner, we'd rinse him out, and then okay, time to go have dinner and get soda or lemonade, whatever.
Yeah, and it saves you a lot on keeping drinks. $4. That's just how it is. If you keep spending that $4, you're eventually going to spend the $16 or whatever it is anyways. Might as well get the cup. I think that's like the best tip ever. And then it translates to the cruise too, because if you buy one at the resort and then you go, wow, I love this Disney World trip thanks to the Imagination Station, they helped me plan it so well. I'm going to plan a Disney cruise. You can take that on the cruise, and the cruise is unlimited soft drinks and coffee and all that. So you can use it there too. So you don't just lose it at the resort once you're done. I'm sorry, I'm so gassy. After you buy it, you don't just, okay, that's it. You can use it on the cruise. You can come home and use it as a regular cup. I think it's probably the best tip out there is to get the refillable mugs.
And then lastly, plan ahead so everything is more cost efficient, because I did try an example with one of my coworkers where she was like, oh, I just want to project it, like, what is it going to cost me? The less time you give yourself, the more expensive it becomes, because Disney's like, well, you want it last minute, so it's going to be more expensive. So I suggest booking it months in advance if you can. They do also offer like I think right now they have a deal going on where you get like 20% off or something your stay. So plan ahead so that it's more cost efficient, but also so you can just plan everything out. You don't have to like necessarily, you know, rush and have to buy things at full price. Maybe you can buy things that are on sale and you know, things like that, especially when it comes to like your clothes or your outfits, if that's something that you like to do. Like I'm gonna segue now into me. So I like to Disney bound kind of, I guess, here, but I like to Disney bound when I'm at Disney World.
Yeah.
And for example, this time around, one of the days at Epcot, I'm gonna do Figment, and I'll show you because I have an example here with me. So for Figment, I went ahead and picked up, I got a lavender athletic skirt. Oh, first I should say, if you don't know who Figment is, this is Figment. I got this pin today. This is Figment. I know, he's adorable. Anyways, so if you don't know who Figment is, that's Figment. And I got a purple athletic skirt so that I'm comfortable because there is a lot of walking at Disney World. That's another little tip. Bring comfortable shoes.
Yes. Do not go over there with some flat shoes, some chanclas. Like, that is just a no-go. These parks are huge.
What I chose for my outfit, and again, because I planned ahead, I did it through like Amazon and stuff. I found this cute shirt that says, can't see it, One Little Spark, which if you know Figment and his ride, that's something that's really key to Figment. And then again, I'm gonna pair it with the purple athletic skirt. And then I picked up these really cute, again from Amazon, Figment colored bows, and they have little tiny horns on them as well. So I was planning on making like two little, maybe ponytails like this, just put them higher with two bows. And then I bought from Amazon as well this Figment tote bag.
It's so fire.
So cute, and it's very vibrant. And with the pins I just picked up today at Disneyland, I'm gonna put 2 Figment pins on my tote bag. So I am so excited. This is just one of the outfits. I did plan 7 outfits.
Yeah, she has, I know for sure she's gonna do a Casey's Corner, which for us, it's the Coke Corner. For Disneyland, it's the Coke Corner. But in Magic Kingdom, they have, I'm not even sure if anybody knows what this is. I'm sure there are people, but it's Casey at the Bat. And it's just like an old, it's more than a cartoon. It's like a little old story about a baseball player, and they have like a themed, I think it's funny, at Casey's Corner in Magic Kingdom, their cast members dress up in baseball uniforms, and their aprons are like old style catcher's gear. So Aaliyah's gonna match them with this long skirt and her paperboy hat.
Maybe I'll do a whole Disney bound video separate showing you guys all of my different outfits.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty fun.
But yeah, that is all of our tips and tricks and information that we have for you guys regarding Disney World.
Yeah, I'm excited for our trip. It's definitely well deserved. And we're gonna go soon. It's literally less than like 25 days.
I can tell you how many days. Let's see.
We're leaving on February 6th. Today is the 9th. So that would mean it's 25 days?
Oh, also 2 things. Download the the Disney World app, just like ours. And then also make sure that you get Magic Bands. I think it's very helpful, especially if you do the, I almost said fast passes. The multi-pass, same thing that they have here.
Oh, the lightning lane.
Yeah, like lightning lanes. Because then over there, they do actually use Magic Bands so much more often. You can also charge things to your room with your Magic Band if you hook up your credit card.
Yeah.
So when you're paying for food, you literally like...
And they use it as your room key too.
Yeah,
which
that too.
I think maybe not necessarily a tip, but like if you want things to be very convenient, get a Magic Band. They're so affordable, especially if you just order one off of it's not the Disney store.
It's the Disney store now.
Disney store, the website or the app. Just order a random color. Like you don't have to have any of the fancy ones, but it's used as your room key. You could buy things with it, your park ticket. Like over here, there's not really much use for it, but over there, it's like the lifeline.
Yeah.
So I would say last little tip in closing, get a Magic Band.
But our trip's in 28 days.
28 days. Not 25, 28. I'm excited.
But thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Share this video with people who are planning a Disney World trip. If we helped you guys out, leave a like down below.
Leave a comment down below if you have any questions or other concerns.
And we'll see you later.
Bye.